At $350, these may be the best budget lever arms you're going to find on the market from Evolpow. Let's talk about it. Hi, my name is Danny with DD Fitness, and today we're going to talk about these lever arms from the company Evolpow. Now, these are some 3x3 11 gauge steel lever arms, and there's a lot of features about these that we're going to go over, and I'm actually going to show you how versatile these lever arms can be because of the way that they designed these. Now, I do want to let you know that these were sent to me as a promotional item from the company to review. I also do have an affiliates code that I will put in the link in the description below. If you are interested in these and you do want to support the channel, definitely be sure to use it. You're not obligated to do it. I want to make sure that I give you a fair review on these. There is a lot to like about these. And there is some things that do need to be worked on, and we'll talk about that later. But first, let's go ahead and go into a couple of the specs about these. Okay, so as I mentioned, these are 3x3 11 gauge steel lever arms. They do have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 positions for the lock pins that you can set these up on. And in the convergent part of this, you have up to 7. Now, the cool thing about this, as I mentioned, is you can do free convergence on these. And actually, these can actually be free motion lever arms. And this is what makes these really unique, because for the price that you're getting for these and the options that you can do, there's not a lot of lever arms that's going to be able to give you free motion the way that these do. And I really like the way that these are set up. Now, these aren't set up to be able to do free motion like the gym pins that you're used to. This is more based on a rotation that can go in and out. And then you also have your lever arms that can move in. So as you can see, you have all kind of free motion that you can do with these. And they're really good for when you wanted to do chest flies, chest press, and all that kind of good stuff. And I'll show you a lot of that. I do plan on having a lot of B-roll for this because of all the options that you can really do with these. And the good thing about these, in addition to being able to do free motion, on the bottom of these, you'll see that they also have a U-hook on here to be able to connect to cables or do bell squats, stuff like that. So we're going to do a lot of talk about these. I'll try to minimize talking too much about them because there's just a lot of options. And if you know me and watch some of my previous videos, I like to do hacks with lever arms. I'm a huge lever arm fan. I also like to use these in different type of ways that you may not have thought of. So we'll talk a little bit more about that. So let's just go ahead and deep dive into some more options about these. Okay, so these can support both 1-inch and 2-inch plates. These are plastic horns that you can tighten on, but it does also have an option to be able to put 1-inch horns on there. So I do kind of like that because some more traditional lever arms, they just come with the regular 1-inch horns for the handles for these. So because these are a little bit more on the budget side, Evolpow did find some ways to where they can kind of cut some price or cost, and this is going to be one of them. But it does support both of those options as well. Now, as far as the handle, I haven't done the actual measurement on these, but I want to say that they're probably at least 28 to 29 millimeters, pretty thick. So it does give you a nice, good handle size to be able to get a good grip. There is knurling on here, but I mean, they're not really on there. I mean, it's just extremely passive. And I mean, it gives you some kind of grip, but not really. But it is a little bit on here, and it does have a spot here and then also right here for the knurling as well. Now, as I mentioned, it does have 11 positions up here, and it does have up to 7 up here. And these do come with 3 pins. So you do have, I believe these are probably about 12 or at most 13 millimeter pins. And so they give you 3 of these. There's going to be one that locks in for the rack. Then you have one up here in case you want to lock these into position. My bad. All right, so you can lock these into position, or you can set it up so that way if you're doing chest press, you can set it up to whatever height. You can also be able to do shoulder presses with these as well, and then have them set up right there for the stop position as well. And then there is also a lock pin for the convergence part of this, or the free motion, I should say. And as I mentioned, you can also lock it in. So all the pins are the same size. And like I said, I think they're either 12 or 13 millimeters. And the little balls can actually screw off. And these are actually kind of a nuisance. Make sure they're really tight. You can probably just put some Loctite in there just to make sure these stay secure, because these can kind of come loose, but not a big issue. So as I mentioned, you can lock these in place. And one of the things that I like to do that I'll show you later is I do lock it in a position so that way when I'm doing seated chest presses, I can have it to do a straight convergence that's not free motion, to be able to mimic a machine. And I really like that. It's one of my favorite workouts to do when I do chest presses. And I'll show you how I set that up for to do the cables on that. Now, the good thing about lever arms is they can be extremely versatile if you don't limit the options that you can do with them. And lever arms nowadays are coming more versatile as far as having free motion, having different type of handles. Roman Strength, if you're familiar with him, has some amazing handles, the megaliths and the Holy handles that I'm actually have on order, so I can't wait to get those and use these with these. So these do come with the handles, but if you use different type of handles, you can actually make lever arms a lot more versatile. Now these can support up to 300 pounds each. So a total of 600 pounds together with the both of them. And that's a really good amount of weight for these to give you 300 pounds of support on them. Okay, so I think what I'm gonna do for this video, just to demonstrate how versatile these can be, is I'm not going to focus too much on the plate loaded options that you can do. I think there's more than enough ways to look at other videos and other type of lever arms and just kind of see some of the versatilities that you can use with the plate loads. I'll put a couple in the B-rolls just to show you, like, you know, traditional chest presses, shoulder presses. You can do RDLs, you can do shoulder shrugs, you can do, you know, lunges. I mean, there's just a lot of options you can do just from using these handles on here alone. But I'm gonna show a way of how versatile these can be just because of the hooks that they put down here at the bottom to be able to connect to your cable system if you do have a rack system with a functional trainer attached to it as well. So one of the things that I do want to do is we're going to go ahead and take these handles off, and I'm going to show you how I like to use these using the cable for the chest press for seated. And it's just a really, really good option for those. Okay, so this is the setup that I use these lever arms in when I'm doing a seated chest press. And I just honestly gotta say that this is probably what will set these apart from other lever arms that are out there. So now, how I got these set up is I have an extra set of cables that I run down to a bullet pulley. The bullet pulley would then turn around and put these on at the bottom. Now I do that because obviously these run in the middle and not on the side. So I don't know if these, if the free motion part of this is small enough so that way if people who have like a rep or a rogue, I believe the pulleys run on the side of them instead of right down the middle. And what makes that really good is that you can put that trolley down at the bottom and then just run it to your lever arms, and you won't have to worry about having to bypass like an extra cable. But for other lever arm or for other machines, for the most part, the trolleys are going to have the pulleys in the middle. But if your system does have it on the side, you might be able to bypass it. However, back to what we're talking about. This is my setup. Now, as you can see, I don't have the arms, the handles on here that comes with the system. And I'll explain later why I'm not using those. So these are just some band pins that I have. I don't have like actual just small handles, but these are perfect for what I use them for. So basically, as I mentioned, the cables are connected down at the bottom, and then I can just get set up in position. And now I can do a really good chest press with these. And I gotta tell you, these feel really, really good and extremely well. Now that clicking that you're hearing is the carabiner that's connected at the bottom. Because this is a U hook and not just like a round one, the carabiner will slide back and forth on it, so it makes that clinking sound. I've been trying to figure out a way to get it out to not make it, but at the same time, it literally is not an issue for me because I don't care about it because I'm able to work out with it. But as you can see, I mean, there's a really good motion right here, and I just love the way this feels to be able to get that chest press out there. And when I go heavier, to keep the bench from sliding, I have a brace down there at the bottom, so I keep this from sliding. And in some cases, I can actually use a lever arm or a spotter arm behind the seat, and that'll keep it from pushing backwards as well. So I do have ways to where I can support it when I get heavier. And then from keeping it from lifting, if I need to, I can just put a weight down there. That's one of the great things about having a home gym is modifying hacks to make use out of the equipment that you have. All right, so what I did for these, as I mentioned also, I don't have these in a free motion. I do have these set over 1 pin over, so that way it does get that good convergence in there. And that's one of the things that why I like these so much is because even though I have a GMW V7 that also converges, these are lever arm convergence style, so it's just a little bit different feel. And if I didn't have that bench, and this was my primary option for a chest press with the lever arms, I would just absolutely love these. And if I really wanted to make them free motion, I just simply take these pins out, and I can still use these for the way that I want to if I wanted to have them free motion as well. But for me personally, I find that it works a lot better just having the pin in there and having it locked and just having one straight motion for hypertrophy is a really good feel for that. Okay, so this is another configuration that you can do with these lever arms. And this is one of the configurations that I think can truly set these apart from what you're used to with other lever arms. Now, because of these hooks at the top, I'm able to actually switch these over and have it hooked to the top of the trolley system. So now I have a hammer strength style lat pull that I can do. Now I do have these locked into a set position, so these won't be free roaming. And this just, again, allows me to just focus on a straight move, just like if I was on the machine at the gym. Now, before I get started, I did switch out the handles. These are just some low budget D handles that I bought off of Team U. I was curious about them. And then they're just connected up here, screwed in with a 1-inch hole. And these gives me a free motion D handle. Once I get the Roman strengths, those will replace these, of course. Again, having different type of handles for lever arms can really set it apart and allow for more versatility to them. So now in this setup right here, as I mentioned, I have it set up to be able to do lat pulls. I have it in a fixed position, and I'll just get it straight, put it in position, and pull straight down. I have to get out a little bit further. And as you can see, it's a nice, good motion on here as well. And I can set these up, again, if I did want to have free motion on them. And so now I have it set up to where they can just move freely. So that way, if I wanted to go in to out, once you get the motion set up, you can have that set up. Again, for me personally, I find using the cables a lot better without the free motion because it allows it to mimic the machine's movements. If I wanted to do free motion, it would feel much better with the plates on there. That way you can get like dumbbell type feels with those. So again, my review on these is more on the cable side of it. So as you can see, I set those up. I also do have some articulating handles as well that I like to use. And so I can use these as well. I got these off of Alibaba. But for the most part, these are what I use for those. Now, I'm going to show a different, unique setup that you can also do for these. And it's something that I really love to do when I'm doing lower chest workouts. Okay, now this is one of the things why I really like these lever arms and why they really drew my attention. A lot of the more expensive lever arms that are able to do free motion and convergence usually are set up on a trolley system. They're extremely bulky, they're heavy, and a lot of times people just get tired of using them. With the Evolpow, one of the ways that they did cut corners to be able to, well, I shouldn't say cut corners, but cut costs, I should say, is they made these to be removable. And it's one of the things why I really like it, mainly because they are removable. Because in this configuration, what I did is I set these lever arms up on the foot stabilizer of the rack. And what that allows me to do now is to change the setup to be able to do decline presses with these. And for this motion, or for this configuration, I do have them set up as a free motion, because the way that they're set up on the lever, on the foot stabilizers, they have to be done a little bit different because the foot stabilizer doesn't have holes on top of them. Now, if you have a rack that has a foot stabilizer and it goes further out, there's a just endless amount of options you'll be able to do with these lever arms. You can also use these as a rope setup too, so that way if you have a cable system and you wanted to mimic the machines, you can also do rows with these. Now, I don't have this set up the way it needs to be to do them properly, but I just wanted to show you that real quickly. Now, I am using the articulating arms that's on here, and these work really good. These, like I said, I got off Alibaba. So again, handles can really help change the feel and workout that you can get with lever arms. And the fact that Evolpow considered even putting these on here just really changed the game for lever arms, especially with these being free form or free motion options as well. All right, so apparently I had some hardware issues with the camera, and so I probably lost about an hour's worth of recording. So if the video looks a little bit different from the first part, it's because I had to re-record a lot of this. So I'm just gonna go ahead and just get into it. So I talked about all the things that I really loved about these lever arms. I touched on a lot of points, showed you how you can use them with cables, how good they are using them with the plate loads, and also showed you how to use different type of handles to make lever arms extremely versatile. Now, these particular lever arms do come at a cost because they are budget or considered budget lever arms at $350. So we're going to go ahead and talk about the things that really needs to be improved on these in order for these to be better. So the first thing that I want to talk about is the very obvious thing, is that these lever arms do not have any UHMW in them. It is literally metal on metal, both at the rack attachment and for the handle attachments. So that was one of the things that I made sure to tell Evolpow about, is to make sure that if they do decide to make a second gen of these, to make sure to use UHMW to help protect racks. Now, I believe Kenzie, who also has a set of these, she has a rack, and I think hers is stainless steel. And I haven't asked her how they work on there compared to a powder coated one. I know Paired and Powered Up also did a review on some of these, and they did put UHMW tape on the lining on the inside of it to help protect the rack. I do also have some UHMW tape on the inside as well, but because these are so snug on the rack, it has a very high tolerance to keep them from shaking. I was able to get some tape in there, but it also kind of made it even more snugger, so I have to kind of do some finessing to get them on and get them secured so they're even more tighter. So I did take one for the team just to see how bad they would scratch the rack, and it does scratch the rack, obviously, it's metal on metal, but surprisingly, they don't do a lot of damage just because when they are on, the tolerance is so good, it doesn't keep them from moving around, and so it doesn't cause additional scratching. But when you take them on and off, you will get some scratches on there. So ever since I put the UHMW lining in there for with the tape, it works a lot better. and I don't have any problems putting them on here. Now, another thing is kind of a mixed bag for me for the way these pin positions work on here. And it's because I love that this is a small footprint for the handle position, and also for the rotation position up here. The problem is because it is too small. And so let me show you what I'm talking about. All right, so when I use these for a fixed position convergence, I only use the one line on the inside, and they work extremely well going on the inside. The problem is the radius. So, and what I mean by that is that because this is a smaller circle, the holes are a lot closer, which is fine. The problem is because the circle is smaller and the holes are a lot closer, the radius of how far this go out extends further out. So basically what I mean is that if I had a bigger circle and I had the holes to go in on the sides, as I make those positions, it's gonna make the turn radius a lot less because I have a bigger circle, and so it's not gonna be turning out as much. Because I have a smaller circle and I still have those same points, that one angle on that smaller point, instead of it just going out right here, it's gonna go further out. So basically, it's fine if I do seated chest presses with the cables on here, but if I'm trying to do a fixed position for the convergence and I'm using the horn for the plate loading, once I'm out here, you can see how far in it goes in. And it won't work with both the arms because basically what happens now is once these are in a set position, you can see already I'm right here and they touch. So yeah, I can crisscross if I need to, but it just feels like I shouldn't have to do that basically. So in the previous example that I showed you, when I do the seated chest presses, I use band pins because they're a lot shorter. So that way when I do come out, they're not going to be touching each other. And so it allows me to be able to get that better range. So, excuse me, sorry. I don't know if this is a good thing or a bad thing, honestly. But I will say this, if you are trying to use the fixed positions, it may not work the way that you would like for it to work. Just because of the handles, at least with these handles, are too wide. Now, of course, if you have like accessory type handles, like for me, I was using those band pins, I would still have a lot better insides because these aren't so far out. And so the handles are a lot shorter, so it's gonna take less space to fill in for that. So this is kind of a mixed bag for me. It's not necessarily a bad thing because it doesn't affect me for the way that I use it. Even when I do the lap pulls, everything is fine. But if I wanted to do plate loaded, that's where I kind of run into the problems unless I use different type of handles. Now, another thing about these is that where this connects right here, it's got a lot of play in it. And you can see there's a little bit of some wiggle right there. It doesn't really affect the use of them personally, but it does kind of be annoying when I try to put the pin in and I can't just drop it in because I have to push it up to get in alignment to be able to push it down. So it's more of an annoyance if anything, but it doesn't affect the use of it, and it works quite well with that. But I wish that the tolerance with the bushings for the connection was a little bit more solid on the inside of here. Now also, as I mentioned, the handles don't have UHMW in them. And I also am not a big fan of plastic 2-inch weight horns. I really wish companies would just get away from these. There are metal weight horns that can be attached. JFHID, who has a chest press bench that I had did a review on, is probably the only company that, as far as the equipment that I've used, that has the 1-inch metal horn or metal weight horns and a 2-inch metal horn. So I would love to see that be something that's just improved in general. because I just absolutely hate plastic weight horns, but they work and they work fine, so not a problem. Another weird thing with these handles is that there's two holes, so I'm just using a bells of steel, in this particular case, a smaller, the nubs, what I call them. If you watched the other video earlier, you will see that I had the longer ones that go out on their side, but I was using these earlier, I was just using these, so I just had those in there just to keep these from moving. But there's a hole right here, and it's just the weirdest thing because you can't do nothing with this hole. It doesn't line with any of the other holes to put like an extra pin in there to keep it secured or anything like that. So I'm a little baffled as to why there's a hole right here if it can't be used. So I don't know, it's just an aesthetic thing for me personally though. But yeah, so it is secured on there with the bottom one, but for whatever reason they don't have that on there. Excuse me. Now the pins, I don't have a problem with the pins. They work fine, and I think they are good at what they are, but some of these pins, the balls are kind of weird because they can screw on and off really easy, and some of them won't even tighten. Like I have one over here, it just keeps spinning for whatever reason. It might just be the plastic that's on there that's spinning, I'm not sure. But these aren't top quality pins, but they work for what they need. I would have liked to see some better pins, but yeah, they don't matter. Also, the pins, there are 3 of them, and they're all 3 different sizes. Probably would have liked them just to be all the same because I have to try to figure out which one goes where, so it's kind of annoying, but that's just more of a pet peeve of mine. So, but yeah, those are really the biggest things that I don't like about these, and it's the reason why they are at the price that they are at $350. However, based on level arms that I've used between Makolo, I've had some other low budget ones I've got off of Amazon. For a 3x3 in 11 gauge steel, I have not found any level arms that I would like over these, honestly. The biggest thing that I love about these, as I showed you earlier, sorry, I'm not on point today. The one thing that I really love about these is that these are removable. And in my honest personal opinion, I think the best level arms are the ones that can be removed because yes, they are bulky. Yes, they are hard to put for storage, but I am a person that loves level arms, and I love to be able to take these off and use them in different positions. Like, for example, when I put them on the foot stabilizers, and I can just put them out the way so that way I can get the full function out of my trolley system for the rack itself. So I really do like that these are removable. Another thing that I forgot to mention is that these lever arms also do have numberings on the sides. So it goes from 1 to 11, and it's nice that they have those in there. It's one of the few budget lever arms that I have seen that actually have the numbers on there. All right, so these are the Evolpow 3x3 lever arms. They are available on their website for $350. I think that's a really good price for these, considering what you're getting from them, and the fact that you're not going to really find another rack system that's going. A lever arm system that's going to have this type of free motion for the convergence of these. Or to be able to find them in a 3x3 with 11 gauge steel. Are they the best? No, they're not. Do I think that they are worth the budget for your rack? Yes, if you are okay with the setbacks, mainly for the UHMW. We spend a lot of money for our equipment. We want to take care of it. I'm not a stickler. I don't really care if I get scratches, nicks, and stuff, but I also don't want to just absolutely destroy because these don't have UHMW on them. So they are valuable to you if you think that they are valuable for you. So if you think for your rack, this is going to be a problem. The UHMW, like I said, works really well, and I haven't had any issues with it, but some people don't want to have to alter their purchase just to make it work. So I do personally feel that these would be worth anybody to look into if they do like lever arms. They're very unique in how they're designed. One thing that I want to see with future lever arms is I would love to be able to have it where they also have the rotation to be able to have a set position, so that way these can also basically you have it to where it can go in and out. You have it go up and down, but you can also turn them in like that. And I think that would just be really amazing, because then that's when you can get really good convergence using them in different ways. Also, another thing that would make these really great is if you do have a trolley system like the VTS, SYL Fitness, and you can connect these to this, connect your cables to the trolley, and you can put this in a set position, and that way you can use the trolleys to use it like a machine workout. If you see my video of the hacks I did, it is an amazing way to utilize lever arms. And in fact, a good friend, Anti-Gravity Research, if you don't know him, I'm gonna put his page in my description. And I think he is probably one of the best gym hack person I have ever seen. Take equipment and just do amazing things with them. He was influenced by some of the hacks that I did, and he just created an entire system. It's just remarkable. I'll put the link in there. But he has the trolley system set up on some posts. He has it to where you can do just like with these with lever arms with the trolleys on there, and you can lock them in position. But then you can also do convergence and divergence for lat pulls, chest press, and all that good stuff. So check out Anti-Gravity Research. He takes gym hacks to a whole nother level. I mean, it's an amazing person. I would love to be able to just go to his gym and just check out some of the DIYs that he has done. So lever arms, I can't say that they're making a comeback. I mean, there's some really good companies like Push and Pull. They're coming out. There's another company, I can't remember their name, I apologize. But I'll put their link. They got some amazing lever arm configurations that's going to be coming to the US market from what he told me, I believe in September. So lever arms aren't gone. I know people want them to be gone. I know they want them to vanish, but people like me, like Rory, who has the Megalift handles, you got Vandella that's making some 360 handles that I am seriously intrigued about, and I'm probably going to end up getting those. They got some 360 rotation handles where they can have the handles rotate in and out on a fixed position on there, or you can lock them in a fixed position. There's still a small community for lever arms, and I think that they're really great, and I love to use them. And I love to be able to use it to where I can mimic some machine style workouts or machines that you would see at the gym. So lever arms are, as far as I'm concerned, here to stay. I will support them. I love them. And I think Evolpow has a very good system for their lever arms, but there do need to be some improvements. Another thing that Evolpow you should do is take consideration for attachments for lever arms. These, in my personal opinion, are played out. I don't really like these handles. I don't really use them pretty much at all, unless I actually am using weight plates. However, I do have options to just be able to use a horn to attach to this and handles and not use these. These are just not, they become a little bit discomfort once you start using them in certain positions, and they don't like articulate, or they just in a fixed position. I'm not a big fan of them. So, but I do love lever arms. So Evolpow, just take into consideration for accessories. Hopefully we can partner up and come up with some ideas to help expand on these, especially with the fact that these can connect to the cable system of your rack. And that really set these apart from other lever arms. All right, so this is Danny with DD Fitness. These are the Evolpow 3x3 11 gauge lever arms. They are $350 on their website. I'll put the link in the description below. If you want to support the channel, you can use my affiliates link. Personally, I don't care. I just want to come and support the company and support a good product. But I do have an affiliates code. And if you want to try to help the budget or help the channel grow, then definitely support it. But you don't have to.